Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and we have here 2012 C-Class, Mercedes C-Class or C250, but this should be valid for most of these C-Classes unless you have a 4-piston caliper or maybe 2-piston. This one is a single, so it's only on the inside here. So I would show you how to change your front brakes in this case, and then I will make another video for the rear brakes. And again, like I said, this is a 1-piston caliper, single piston here. It's on the inside of it, inside of the caliper, and it should be a pretty easy job to do. We got the rotor we're replacing and the brake pads. Obviously it's easier to turn the steering wheel because this is the passenger side. Turn the steering wheel to the left so you have a bigger space to work with this caliper. And the first thing you gotta do is what I start doing first is try to pull this piston as far as back as possible to zero position. I'm changing the rotors anyway, so I do this very fast with a screwdriver between the rotor and the brake pad, and just kind of push it slowly as far as back as possible. It may not be all the way through, but it should be pretty close to zero position. And okay, and here what I actually do is, if there's a little bit sticking out more, then I'll do a little bit more, because you want this all the way back there. And yeah, it went all the way back. So I'm using the brake pad, the rotor as support, and the old brake pad. We are replacing all of these, so no need to worry about any damage. And in this case here, next step would be I'm doing this passenger side, because only the passenger side has the brake pad wear sensor. So I'm going to disconnect this brake pad wear sensor here. Remember, it's on the inside. And I'm going to actually disconnect the, let me see if I need to disconnect this. Probably not. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this. Well, let me open this. This is I'm using a simple 8mm socket on this inverted Torx. I found out that they work better on these because I get an instant grip, and I have twisted a few of these inverted Torx with the actual inverted Torx sockets. They have slipped on me, so I tried to find a different way to do this, and I started using 8 and 10mm on these, depending on what size they are, and I have never had problems ever since. So brake pad wear sensor disconnected, the plug disconnected, and next thing is to release the caliper. We would use these 2 bolts here, one here and one here, and those are 13mm. So guys, when you do this, you're gonna need 13mm here. You have an inside nut here. I don't have my other narrow tipped wrenches, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this vice grip here and just lock it here, and then you can use 13mm to open these. Okay, I'm going to release this, and otherwise this should be like I think 16 or 17. I don't remember what this nut was on the inside, but I don't have my narrow sockets or wrenches with me, so I'm gonna do it with this vice grip. Again, these are 13mm here, and release this, and this is going to be very loose because remember we reset the piston all the way to the inside, and I'm gonna put this on the top. Here's the brake pads. They're worn out almost completely. Yeah, they're almost completely out. And in order to remove the caliper, because we need to get the rotor out, we need to hit those 18mm, two nuts, 18mm here. Okay, so you got two 18 bolts and caliper support is out. And next thing would be this rotor. Now we have a situation here that somebody before messed up this bolt here. That's a T30 Torx. It's moving, it's actually loose. But I'm going to need to replace this because otherwise I'm not going to be able to mount this back in here. So don't strip this bolt, guys. Be careful with this. It's a T30 Torx. Use the proper tools before you mess up something on your car. So guys, just to give you a hint, if your rotor does not come out right away like mine here, and because the rust has kind of glued the rotor to the hub, you're gonna have to hit it with a hammer, heavy hammer, right dead center around this area. You're gonna have to hit it constantly, repeatedly, until this separates. In it will. You just need to keep hitting it. As you can see, the rotors are worn out. This thing is done. We are replacing them anyway, and I got the new rotors that I need to install right now. And I'm gonna clean them with brake cleaner, then I'm gonna install it. And I got a new screw right here because the one I had is all messed up. And we need to make sure, you need to make sure that this screw is in good shape. So here's the new rotor. T30 Torx bolt, again, that holds the rotor all the way in. I'm not gonna get it too tight because it already has Loctite from the factory, so you don't really need to get it too tight. If you want to, you can. I'm just gonna try if it's tight. Yeah, it's tight enough. You don't want to get it too tight because next time you won't be able to take it off. Again, try to clean this. I already cleaned it, but just this is a secondary cleaning just to make sure. And next thing is we have this thing that we have to change these brackets here. Our new bracket, the new brake pads, and these have to be greased up. But guys, and don't forget, these has to be cleaned up and greased up. You open these, that's the self-floating guide pins bolts. As you can see, no grease. And here's the pin. When you guys clean it up, try to make sure you cleaned it up very well. You grab some grease and we'll put it inside the actual guide pin space. and just lubricate it, and here we go. It's the same thing with the second one here. I'm gonna clean it up. And here we go. If you see some extra grease, just cleaned it up. And now we need to install the two new brackets, or the guides for the new brake pads. These should come with your brake pads when you buy them, so you need to replace the old ones. So make sure you get these when you're buying your parts. There we go. So now we're going to install this back in the car or on the hub, and that's the 18mm bolts. We need to start them by hand. These are usually about 60 Newton meters is what they usually go for, but I'll have to look and let you know what it is. We'll do them by hand. Okay, I got these tied to 60 Newton meters by hand, and now next thing is we need to install the new brake pads. So here's the new brake pads. Remember, the one with the brake sensor would be on the inside. So this is the brake pad sensor. It's already installed in the pad. Try to get as good or closer to OEM parts or something really good, like maybe Techstar. Even though I have not liked Techstar, I usually like installing OEM Mercedes parts. They've proven to be better than the other parts, to be honest with you. Sometimes you could try with ceramic brake pads, but it depends if they're gonna actually behave properly with the rotor. So I usually try to install either Zimmerman rotors with original OEM Mercedes brake pads, or OEM brake pads and OEM rotors. This is a different case in this car because the customer brought the parts themselves. So we got this here. Next thing is we need to install don't forget the brake pad sensor here. We need to install this here piston, and we're gonna need to push the bolts, the top and bottom bolts here, in order to slide it in. Okay, and now we need to install the 13mm bolts. Here we go, and here we go, and I think these are about 20-25 Newton meters. I'll have to look in the specification and let you know what it is in the description. Sometimes people put Loctite on these. I don't like putting Loctite because next time you may have a big trouble getting this bolt out. And you got to be very careful with these bolts because they have a short head. They have a base and a short head. You may strip them very easily. Actually, it is recommended for you to replace these bolts every time you install new brake. So sometimes they do come with the part, sometimes you have to order them separately. I did not get these. I thought the customer was gonna get them, but anyway, I'm installing the old ones. Again, you can install Loctite if you want to, but pay attention to the fact that you may have trouble getting this off the next time if it has Loctite. So here, I want to connect the brake pad wear sensor. Okay, this is giving me a little bit of resistance, so I'll put a little bit of grease, and I don't think there was a direction. Yeah, it was just the seal was giving me trouble, so I greased it up and it went in. And here the next thing would be installing the inverted Torx back. And that was about 8 Newton meters if I'm not mistaken. I remember these were 8 Newton meters here, but this should be it. And last inspection, guys, try to make sure that this wire is not touching anything metal like the rotor and stuff. Just leave it there, it should be fine, far away from the rotor. You don't want this get cut by an accident, getting cut by an accident and triggering the brake lights. So check these, everything is fine here. And we installed everything back in, and the only thing left is the wheel, and that's the front brake job on this vehicle. I'm showing only the passenger side because the driver side is the same way, just without, it's the same job, just without the brake wear sensor. And again, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe buttons, because your support helped me to run this channel and save you tons of money. Okay guys, thank you, thanks for watching again. I'll see you in the next one, and stay tuned for the rear brake job on this C-Class. Again, thanks for watching, see you in the next one.